Today I was supposed to do a race in Snelling, California, even though it was going to be raining and cold. But because part of the course was flooded, here I am. Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, Cycling Greek. My race got canceled about an hour before I started this race. So when it got canceled, I went on a Zwift, see what was available. I saw this race that had a lot of people in it, and I signed up. I set up my equipment. It's a bit of an ordeal here. Got on the bike and got just a good enough warm-up. And now here I am. This is the first of a 5-race series. This one goes for about 15.6 miles and it climbs about 950 feet. That climbing to distance ratio in combination with how it's laid out on this course is about the maximum that I can take. I love to climb, but I don't love to climb on Zwift. You probably can't tell by my inserted picture in the lower left-hand corner, but my legs are hurting. And it's probably due to my needing to do a couple more intervals during the warm-up so my legs can get used to this power. Such as it is, I'm slowly moving up the pack still. So what I want to do is get toward the front group. We have a lot of people. This is the most I've ever raced with. I think the most I've ever raced with before was been around 120, 130, but now we have 316 in this. There are a couple of reasons why I want to get in the front. First is that I want a bit of a buffer in case the speed really picks up and I can't hang with them. I can drop back and still be connected with the group. The other reason is there can be a split, and so I want to be on the good side of that split. Now this move is really important because when we jump to the 2-mile mark, you'll see in the upper right hand corner that map insert, a split is starting to happen. While it costs me energy to move up, it's saving me energy so I don't have to go jump any gaps. Now if you turn your attention to the top of the screen with the graphics over there, you'll see that this course is made up of 2 laps. And we've already gone 124 feet, so each lap is going to be close to 470 feet or so. There are some minor sustained climbs, but most of the climbing comes in a lot of ups and downs, rollers. The rollers in Zwift are easier to handle for me. It's the sustained climbing in Zwift that's really tough. Jumping to the 3-mile mark, we're in a bit of a sustained 5% climb. I'm starting off in 11th place, but now I'm starting to drift back because, given my abilities, that's the best course of action. Looking at the upper right corner insert map, you'll see that we still have that gap, but it hasn't gone up. In fact, the people are starting to make connection with us, or let's say people are splitting apart and making a connection with us. We're still at about 5-6%. I'm hanging in. I'm at 60th place now, and I don't know how many are in our front group. But for the moment, it looks like we're all connected again. I'm just glad I'm at the top and not at the tail, because as we start the descent, we may split apart again. After I survived the series of rollers, and now we're on the flats again at mile 4.5, I went to the back and I see that I'm at 72nd place. So we have that split. We have about, what would that be, 250 people or so behind me, and I'm in the front group so far. Jumping to the 5-mile mark, we're still in the first lap and we're starting now on a sustained climb. We're at 6%. I was at, let's say, about 25th place, so now I'm starting to drift back, and I'm really feeling it on my legs. You can see it on my face. Setting aside that this is hard for me, the extra challenge that I have is that my gears can slip. I have Campy 10 on my Kicker core, and even though Kicker has a conversion kit for Campy, it's not that smooth a conversion, so I'll tend to slip. So it could be that, or it could be my big chain ring that maybe needs to be replaced. I don't know. All I do know is that the combination of those two is making this a challenge for me, so I'm slipping farther and farther back. My legs have reached their limit, so now I'm dialing back a bit. I'm hoping to gather my legs so I can get going again. So in this case, or cases like this, what has to happen is that since I can't use huge amounts of power, one because I may not be able to, and the other two is because of gear slippage, that I try to work an even amount of power during the whole full circle of the spin. My buddy Bob came up to me in the middle of a race the other week and was telling me about the study this one guy did where he wanted to see the differences between World Tour pros and Continental pros. And the main difference was in their spin. He said World Tour pros used less power over their entire spin because they went from about 11 o'clock all the way to 7 o'clock. Continental pros didn't have that big of an arc. Let's say it was closer to 1 to 5 o'clock. Therefore, that necessitated more spikes in power on a consistent basis. So they would have less energy for later on in the race when they needed it. Okay, back to the action on the screen. I'm in 64th place. You can see my work is cut out for me. It looks like on the map insert in the upper right hand corner that we're all connected, but we're really all spread out. So there's gaps between all of us. I've got to get back up there if I can get back up there. I'm not even halfway done with the race. And yet I'm on another 6% climb. Pretty much I'm holding steady at about 250, 260 watts. And I'm doing that full circle spin because that's all I can do right now. I make it over the top in about 59th place. Now, it looks like we're all connected again, but we're really not all connected. There's a lot of work that I have to do. And so I'm going to be riding as many wheels as I can. And people are going a lot faster than me right now. And that makes sense. I'm probably the oldest guy in this race. If I'm not, please leave a comment and let me know if there's anybody older than me. I'm about close to 69. I'm about 68 and 2/3. Like I mentioned in the other descents, this is where it can split out again, and this is where it is splitting out. And you can see that by the little map insert again in the upper right-hand corner. When you look at the graphics on the right, there's about 3 seconds to the rider, a couple riders that are in front of us, and maybe another 5 seconds to some more riders in front of them. Just as importantly, when you look behind us, the next group of riders is going to be about 6 or 7 seconds behind. Assuming the Zwift position numbers are keeping up, there seems to be about 50 riders that are in front of us somewhere, so we're still trying to catch small groups. While we'd love to catch the leaders, catching small groups is the best that we can do right now. Keep in mind that this is still the first lap, just about the end of the first lap, but the first lap. We have another half of the race to go. Jumping ahead to just after the start of the second lap at the 8.2 mile mark, we catch the second small group. So if you look at the map insert on the right side, you'll see that pretty much there's no more small groups. There's that major group that's going to be about, 20 seconds ahead of us right now, and somebody's actually splitting off from that, and there's us. Jumping ahead to 2.9 miles to go, here's the situation. I'm in a group of 21. There are about 3 that are ahead of us by about 33 seconds, and the 31 leaders are about 15 seconds ahead of them. Now, in back of us, I think the nearest group is maybe 10, 12 seconds behind. In fact, looking at the insert map, it looks like the rest of the pack is pretty much split into 2s and 3s. As you can see, I'm back on a 7% sustained climb, and I'm doing my even power full circle spin so I can minimize any gear slippage that apparently seems to be happening now just a little bit. As you can tell by the little insert map that we are past strung out and onto fragmentation. I just moved up into 49th place, and so basically this is it. This is do or die. So I'm doing what I can to get as many people behind me as possible. The gaps to the riders ahead of me are 1, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, and on. I am currently in 47th place. The best I can do with this grouping is 34th place. The leaders are around 50 seconds or more ahead of us. The rider that's currently in front of me, I couldn't pass him very well, so I got on his wheel, and he's doing a good pull for me. We are well under 3K to go, and we have the next group in front of us at about 3 to 4 seconds. Now, those behind us are about 5, 6, and 10 seconds. My heart rate's around 150, and my maximum is 164, so I don't have a lot to play with. So I'm trying to get away from these guys, but I'm not doing it. So I'm starting to look at the distance, and we're close to 1 mile to go. So at a certain point, I'm going to need to attack these guys because I just don't have a sprint. In last week's race, I attacked with 0.9 miles to go, pretty much where I am now, but we're going downhill, that's not going to work. And also I was caught and passed by most everybody. So now I'm just picking my spot. I'm thinking, maybe 0.3 kilometer to go. And we're just about there, so I'm starting to pick up my power. I stand, and so I'm gone. Less than 1,000 feet, I have somebody 9 meters off my wheel. The clean behind me is starting to make his move. I'm trying to suck as much power I can out of this old body. I sit back down, I'm spinning, and with under 150 feet to go, and hold it to the line. Good on him. This old guy didn't do that bad. 46 out of 316, though I was about 1:40 off the leader. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. As always, remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.